So hi guys, welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be creating a Arduino circuit with a push button and a servo. And actually, we're also going to be using a battery at the end. So this is the circuit from the previous video we're going to wire. There's a push button that's being read on digital pin 5, and the servo is being read on digital pin number 2. This is how everything is wired. That's your power rail, that's your ground rail. And then when the push button is pressed, only when the button's pressed, then the power will flow to here and also to here, right? So that's how the circuit will work. This will be our code generated from Tinkercad, and we're going to be discussing this piece called include. This piece of code, which is the attach function, and write the write code. Okay, so let's start by wiring the Arduino. So in this demo, we're going to be wiring the push button with the servo. So let's start. Let's just wire the push button. Okay. So let's take our breadboard and let's take a push button here. All right. And we're going to wire this button like so. It's not going to fit lengthways. You have to do it kind of this way. Make it long on the vertical, so the longer side should be facing vertically, I guess. So you could hook it kind of to row 10, right? If you see here, you're gonna make it go over 4 different rows, and the long side is it's gonna look like a rectangle standing up. Okay, so I'll paste that in. Okay, and that's the push button. Next, we'll put the 10K resistor over here. Okay, so this is a 10K resistor, and that's what it looks like so far. So we have the push button with a 10K resistor. Okay, let's maybe wire it a bit nicer. It's not so crooked. There we go. Okay, now let's take our Arduino board, and we already know what to do. So we'll start by creating a power rail. So power goes in, the 5 volts, and we'll connect it to the positive terminal on the breadboard. So we're creating a power rail. Next, we'll create a ground rail. So again, we'll connect to the GND on the Arduino, and we'll connect that to the negative on the breadboard so that the whole bottom is now a ground rail. Okay, then we're gonna power up our button. So we're gonna put this thing here from the power rail to the bottom pin of the button. So it's on row 10, so here. So we're gonna power row 10 at the bottom, and then our circuit, the electricity will flow from power rail to the button. It will flow out here. It will go through the resistor. So we're going to put our ground from where the resistor is back to the ground rail, and then we're gonna measure. So we're gonna check where is that pin. Where is that pin on the push board? So we'll see. I can see the pin is about here. It's about there. So I'm gonna place the this pin, which allows us to do a digital read, where this leg is connected. So it's connected up top. And then I'm gonna wire that to pin number 5, because that's where I'll do the digital read from. So with this circuit will already allow you to read the value of the push button. But now let's go and connect it to the servo. So a servo has, you'll see 3 wires. So this is ground, power, and then control or signal. So we're going to wire the ground over here on the servo. The ground, this goes to the ground rail. Ground rail. Just put it any part of the ground rail. Next, power. So power, we're gonna wire this power anywhere on the power rail. And then lastly, we're gonna wire this signal rail 012 onto pin number 2. So with that, our servo is fully wired and we're ready to go. Okay, now that everything's wired, we're going to be talking about some parts of the code. So first is this include statement. And think of the include as kind of a digital toolbox command. So C++, it knows a lot of it, but it doesn't know every single thing. So we have to include new files of code. So servo.h is just a whole bunch of code. And this command include servo.h. It adds all the commands found in the servo.h library. So then it grants us a whole list of new commands and other pieces of code. So this is from the Arduino website. This is what the library servo.h looks like, and it's worth checking it out. So the servo.h library allows Arduino boards to control a variety of servo motors, and there will be new commands. So the first command is attach, and then this would be the first parameter would be what pin it's on. So here we're going to put 2. And then the defaults for this, I think it's 550 and it's 2500. And it's just the way certain servos work. So our servo, the minimum number, that would course, the 500 corresponds to the 0, and then the 2500 corresponds to the kind of maximum angle of 180. There's different servos, you have to use a different attach function. And then we'll have another function we'll use called write. It takes one parameter, an int, and then we put the angle we want. And then we use the digital read function to actually read if the button is being pressed. So the digital read function takes following parameters, basically just the pin, and it returns either a high or a low. This function is what allows us to do a digital read. This link, let me pause it, I'll get the right link. Okay, so welcome back. And here's the link. I mean, you shouldn't see much of a break, but here's the link so you could actually see the reference function in the Arduino documentation. So now you have all of this. Let's actually go and write the code. Hi guys, so we're gonna write the code to power our Arduino with the servo. So the first thing is we're gonna type include servo.h. So this includes the servo library. We're gonna create a global variable called button value, which will initialize to 0, and then we're going to make our first servo. We'll call it my servo, right? And that's the servo we're gonna power. Okay. Then setup code. So this is the stuff that will run as soon as we turn on, but it only runs once. So pin mode 5 as an input pin. Input pin. This will be for where we read the value of the button. We'll initialize the serial monitor, set it to 9600. That's kind of the baud speed, so that we can print to the serial monitor. And we're gonna now first use something called the attach function. Attach. Okay, so we're gonna be attaching my servo, which we see here, my servo dot attach. we're going to be attaching it to digital pin 2. That's digital pin 2. And these are the default values, 500 and 2500. 500 corresponds to angle 0, to 500 corresponds to angle 180. It's just a little bit of setup code that some servos need. So some servos will take different values than 500 and 2500. Okay, so let's read. So button value over here. Button value equals digital read pin 5. Let's just print the value of button value. Print lin button value. So here we're going to print button value to serial monitor. Okay, now if button value is greater than 0, else, so here we're going to type my servo dot write 180. So if button value is greater than 0, it's going to go to my 180, and my servo dot write 0. If it's less or than or equal to 0, so it's not, the button isn't pressed, it's going to write 0. It will go back to the 0 position, and we're going to delay 1 second. Okay, now we're going to just set up a function so you could see there's an alternate way. At least you could see how to use functions. So we'll just go void, we'll just go my servo move, and then we'll put it int angle. And here we're just going to put my servo dot write angle. So my servo here, we can reference that since it's a global variable, and this is a function parameter, so we can only reference it in between these lines. So here angle is referenced to here. There is no return because we're using a void. And why am I doing that? So you could see there's an alternate way to write this. We could just say my servo move 180. Just so you could see there is a how to create your own function. Move 0. You could keep it the simple way based on what we did in Tinkercad, or you could start practicing making your own functions, because you put other code here as well, like turning on an LED, turning on some alarm, moving multiple servos with one function. So this is just a nice way to start to code your first kind of mini function. Let's just save this, and I'll just call this servo button servo. Okay, so that is our code, and now let's push it to the servo and see how it works. So now I've hooked the what our Arduino wiring, and then this is the code that we did. So we're gonna click verify. Done compiling, then we're gonna click upload. So it goes to the servo. So you click the upload button, it's done uploading. Let's click tools, serial monitor, just so you can see something there. And if you see now, it's outputting 0 because the button's not pressed. And then when we press the button, two things will happen. The servo will move and it will output 1. So here, we're going to press, I'll just hold this servo, put it there a bit so you can see. And we press the button and you see it move. Okay, so we press the button, you see it move, and it goes back. Press the button. Okay, and then when I press the button, you'll see on the screen it's outputting a 1 from the print line, and then as soon as I let go, the servo will go back. So this is our demo on kind of the servo and a push button. Okay, now that we've written the code, let's actually wire it up, and we're gonna plug it and we'll see the output. And then lastly, let's try this again, but we're going to add a battery. So we're going to use what we call a 9 volts connector. You're going to see it like this. This is in your Arduino kit, and then you plug it here. So then you no longer have to be connected to the laptop all the time. And you're going to need this in case you connect a lot of servos, since the Arduino would actually need a more powerful power source than just the USB wire. And then we're gonna add some paper art. So let's get this to work. Okay, so we're back. We still have our same circuit. You notice it's no longer wired to the laptop. And what we're going to be doing is showing you how it works with a power source. So servos, you want, when you have multiple servos, the USB wire sometimes can't handle the power. So we're going to be using this 9 volt connector. This comes with your Arduino kit and a battery. You just hook it up to a 9 volt battery. I made this demo a little bit more fun. So here, if you see, I put an arrow, a small arrow, and we're gonna paste that on top of the servo here. And then we're just gonna draw something on this paper. We're gonna put off. And then we're gonna put on. And this could be like a small power meter with a thing. So actually, let me see if you could see it properly. Yep, off and on. So we're gonna wire that. Okay, so that's our circuit ready with our paper on top. And we're gonna plug it in. So this is the battery. Let's go. So you plug it here on the Arduino. And then you'll see it light up. And then now let's press our button. It goes to on. And then we let go, goes to off. Press it, on, off. So here we showed you that you could use this to make a fun meter, or it can pull a door. And we showed how to connect it to a battery. So off, on. And this sort of thing, I hope we could use to create more complex machines, such as opening, closing a door, maybe pulling a prosthetic hand, but it's the same circuit for everything. Thank you.